How's everybody doing? A little bit late start today. Had a doctor's appointment. We're going to try to get as much done as we can today. Alright, on the single coils, what the plan is for right now, I'm going to cut out 2 pieces on either side of each of the single coils. Just something to screw into, because I'm going to put a spring underneath the single coils. And then I got to have some softer wood, because this wood that I'm using for all 3 of these layers is quite dense and really hard. And I drilled through, I put a hole through the first top layers, and the bottom layer is somewhat thin and it's really dense, and it would be hard to stick a screw through. And it's really not that thick. And seeing how the pickups are going to rest on top of these 2 pieces on either ends that I'm going to make right now with the softer wood. I'm going to use this wood right here. It's a plywood, but it's a little bit denser, a little bit lighter, so the screws will go through it easier. And I'm going to cut it to width, but I'm going to make it just thick enough to where see, the pickups don't have to go that far, so there's going to be plenty of room. So I'm going to put 2 little dowels on either side and then glue it to the top layer, and then it's going to have something that the single coil is going to screw to, but yet the center part is going to be open, so we'll be able to feed the wire through. And I'm going to do that before I glue the pieces together. And I was thinking about this last night before I went to bed. Alright, so I'll get started on that, and then I'll show you the next step. I'll see you in a sec. Alright, these are pieces I traced out. Top, bottom, bottom, top. So I'll cut these pieces and cut them in half, and then these pieces, the pieces are going to be inserts. Alright, see you in a sec. Alright, here we go. Bottom, top, bottom. We'll work with that first. Okay, got the pieces cut out. Okay, top, bottom. Bottom, top. Then the bottom. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this piece over. I'm going to glue these 2 in there. Let me show you how in general they're supposed to fit theoretically. And that might be a little tight. I have to adjust this. I just cut these pieces. So there, like that. There, like that. And then you still have the opening for the center. And then when I actually get the pickup, it's going to be roughly the same girth. And see, it's going to have plenty of room. That way it'll have something to put these screws and the springs into, the softer wood, and then the springs will be pushing upward, and then you release the screw and up and down. So I'll do that. I'll flip it over and I'll glue these in on both sides, and then I'll show it to you. Alright, see you next step. Alright, got the 2 pieces glued, 4 pieces actually glued in. Yeah, it looks cool. Let me show you the other side. Yeah, I sanded these flat. Now the pickups have something. I got something to screw the single coil pickups into, because when it comes, it's going to have the screws on and then the springs underneath, and then it'll be down there, and the screws will be pushing up. Anyway, okay. So we're close to gluing both the bottom and the upper piece together, and let me check everything out, and I'll see you next step. Alright, we are ready to go to the glue phase. So I'm going to apply this glue to the top layer, and then I'm going to put the bottom layer on top, line it up, and then put some weight on top, and then I'll see you next step. Alright, glue is applied. Now I'm going to attach the top layer, or the bottom layer to the top layer. Alright, we'll see you in a second. Alright, I got some pressure on there. And we are gluing the top piece to the bottom piece, or all pieces together. Alright, we'll see you in the next step. Good morning, everybody. Beautiful sunny day here in Central Florida. Look at it, sunned out. It feels good out here. It's a little bit chilly how I like it. Alright, I'm going to continue progress. I was completely successful glue phase yesterday, and I was able to put the body filler around the sides everywhere, and that looks pretty good. I left it overnight for it to harden, the body filler. And what the plan is today is I'm going to finish off the curly Q here in the front. I'm going to sand all the body filler that's on the body now. I'm going to put some body filler on the back here, all the deep crevices, and make it nice and uniform as possible. Then I'm going to set the bottom, screw in both necks, and then figure out the placement, make sure the necks are properly shimmed. Then once I get that done and I get all the body filler and all the points and everything looks good, then we're going to start the ugly phase. We're going to start the wood filler phase, wood grain filler phase with the plastic wood, and start working on that and start layering that up, and we're in the process of getting closer and closer to paint. Can't wait. And then after we get all that done and we get some primer and we actually paint the body, then we can start working on the necks, and it's going to be cool shaping the necks and doing the fret work and all that. But anyway, here we go. All right, I'll see you next up. All right, got all the sides smoothed out, got everything looking good. Finished the top curly Q little section, looking good. Yeah, I got the, like I said, all the sides rounded out, sanded the back a little bit. I'm gonna add some body filler to the back here in a second. But next step now is getting the neck angle set perfectly for both necks, and I'll see you on that step. What I'm gonna do is like I said, I'm gonna cut, pick in half, and then stick it in the side, and then attach the necks, screw them in, the back plates, and then see how they fit with the neck. And then once I get the proper angle, then I'll get the body filler in there, but we'll see you next step. Okay, we're gonna work the bottom neck first. I got the 2 pieces of shim attached. I'm gonna set in the neck, and then I'm gonna screw it in, and then we're gonna see how we line up as far as angle. Okay, see you in a sec. Alright, got both necks bolted on, and we're getting ready to do the string test, but I wanted to check the dimensions and the depth. Everything looks pretty killer. Yeah, this is turned out to be a really cool instrument. Yeah, let me show you the back. Try to do this one-handed. And these are just temporary back plates. I ordered some good ones. These are the ones I had, a Fender one and an Epiphone one, but yeah. As you can see, good spacing, so there'll be plenty of room between the tuning pegs. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty bad to the bone. When it's nice and painted and everything like that, it's gonna look really killer. But alright, I'm gonna do a string test real quick, and then we'll see how we line up as far as both bridges go. And if everything's good to go, I'll go over it with some more body filler. And then after I get all the body filler good and sanded, then we're gonna start with the wood grain filler, the ugly phase. So we're getting pretty close. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I just want to show you again real quick. That looks cool. That is a cool. I'm so glad I decided to go with the double instead of the single, because there's a lot of people saying that, on Facebook saying, why do a double? What's the point? It's just because it's unique, it's rare, and look at how cool that looks. It's cool. Anyway, all right, we'll see you next step and do some string tests. All right, string test is good. Shim is perfect. Had to shim it both necks, but they're both in line, as you can see. So we're good. So we're set. All right, so the next step is to put some body filler underneath the necks, and then get them dialed in where they need to be. Then once that's taken care of, then we can start getting the wood, the ugly phase. All right, we'll see you in a sec. All right, everything is good to go. I've got the neck shimmed. Everything lines up perfectly. I got the body filter sanded, and we are ready for some wood filler. I got me a batch mixed up right here, and I'm gonna start on the back. I just wanted to show you the results. Yeah, a lot of necks are lining up perfect, looking good. So now it's just a matter of getting lots of coats of wood filler on here, and then sanding it smooth, and then put some primer coats. But yeah, everything's looking good. All right. Oh yeah, I did the front. I finished the curly Q. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but I finished the curly Q on the front. All right, let me get a few coats of wood grain filler on here, and the ugly phase is getting ready to start. And so I'll see you back here in a little bit. All right. All right, the ugly phase is officially ongoing here. Got the first few coats of body filler done. Whew. And it's looking as it should. Ugly. But I'm gonna let this dry for about an hour or two. Take a break. It's perfect because it's clear, but I'm in the shadow and it's not too hot, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, this will dry and cure, and I'll go clean this up so I can have fresh batch, and then I'll apply some fresh batch. I'll probably do, I'm not sure how many layers I'll do on the back here, probably, I don't know, 10 layers, 12 layers, as many layers it takes to build it up, so when I sand it. And I think on this guitar, I'm going to try to get the finish perfect. So I might even actually do about 10 layers, let it cure, sand it, smooth, and then do another 10 layers, and then let that cure, and then sand that. So it'll be like double the ability of it to be perfect. Before I just did it one time around, but I'm going to try to do it twice, and there's no hurry on this. So, and it should start looking sweet. Alright, I'll see you on the next step. See you in a bit. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing on this beautiful Saturday morning? Sun is out. Ah, what a beautiful day. A little bit windy, I guess. Got some cobwebs. But we are ready to sand. All the wood filler has been applied. I want to show you that. And it's looking cool. And we are on the next step, which is probably my favorite step. I mean, it's going to be labor intensive, of course, but I'm going to turn this and sand it into a beautiful, perfect body. So, just wanted to show you the beginning. I have to sneeze, so 1 second. Excuse me. Dust. Pollen. Anyway, so this is how it looks prior to sanding. That'll probably take me about a good 3-4 hours to sand it smooth. I just wanted to show you what it looks like prior to sanding and document it real quick. But yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be a cool guitar once I get some white paint on there. Now I'm thinking about the white paint. Instead of going to the textured paint, I might just go straight gloss white, just make it simple. Because with the textured paint, there's always the bumps and being a little textured. I just want to make this one kind of simple, and I don't have just a really good gloss white guitar that I've made. I mean, I've got plenty of gloss white guitars that I own, but none that I've really made. But yeah, okay. Here's how it looks prior to the sanding. And I will see you midway through. I'll probably take several breaks during this process, and I'll show you the results. Alright, we'll see you soon. Look up close how rough it looks. And then when it's sanded, how beautiful. Alright, we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, how's everybody doing? Woo! After a lot of work, the ugly phase is done. And it is looking sharp. Yeah, it turned out really good. And I downgraded to the sandpaper, so I try to make it as smooth as possible. Just wanted to give you an update before I put some primer on it. I'll probably do that in about a couple hours. I still gotta go get some primer, some sandable white colored primer. But I'm gonna put it on the hanger and then set it in the room. Let me show you the back. And I let it air dry for a little while. And I'll probably go over it with some 1,000 grit sandpaper, probably, maybe 8. Maybe I'll start at 8 and then I'll go to 1,000 and maybe 12,000, just to get it super fine, but not fine enough to where the paint won't adhere to it. But yeah, it turned out really good. I mean, this guitar, it was kind of a concept guitar, and I'd never seen it done before, and the cloud guitar from Prince as a double neck, and there it is. Alright, and then once I get some primer shot on it, and I'll let that set for a day, and then I'll sand that, and then I'll go another primer coat, and in the meantime, when all that's curing, I'll start working on the necks. So I gotta reshape the 2 headstock necks, and then do all the fret work, the leveling, crowning, polishing, all that kind of good stuff, and figure out exactly how I'm going to paint the headstocks. I'm going to paint the headstocks white to match the body, but I'm probably going to do it with the like I did the circular pattern like I did on the Prince cymbal guitar. So Alright, yeah, it's coming together. Just wanted to give you progress before I put it on the hanger. Yeah, it's looking good. Can't wait to get the sucker painted and get all the parts on it and string them up and hear how it sounds. It should sound amazing. I should be getting all the parts today. I ordered the pickups, the single coil pickups, all the hardware and everything like that, including the tuning keys and the neck plates and everything like that. And so, alright, fingers crossed. I'm going to put it on the hanger, let it set for a while. I might go for a ride on a motorcycle just to kind of get all the dust off me, and then I'll head up to the store and I'll get the primers. And it's still relatively early. I don't think it's before 2 o'clock or anything yet, so still got time. The sun's high up in the sky, so it's probably about noonish, 1 o'clock. But alright, there you go. The Prince Cloud guitar as a double neck. Pretty awesome. Alright, we'll see you next step. Alright, just another quick update. Got it on the hanger. It's looking pretty good. I don't see any major flaws or anything. Might be a couple spots here and there that I might have to address, but I think I should put some primer, put about 2-3 coats of primer on there, and then start sanding. I'm going to take my time with this one and try to get the finish just right. So yeah, it's looking pretty cool. Alright, we'll see you on the next step. Alright, how's everybody doing? Okay, quick update on the Prince double neck cloud guitar. Got about 5 or 6 layers of primer on there. It looks pretty good. It's flat primer, so it's not going to have any kind of sheen to it at all. But it looks pretty good. Yeah, everything works out good. I'm going to let this cure for a day or two, and then I'll do a sand on it, and then I'll determine whether I want to do some more filler or if I want to go straight to, I'm just switching the guitar over, straight to the gloss paint. Let me show you the front. Yeah, it looks good. Looks pretty killer. Alright. Yeah, it's gonna look cool. Yeah, I'll sand and make it perfectly flat. I mean, it looks pretty good now, but I'll sand it really, probably about 1000 grit sandpaper and get everything looking really good. But yeah, the multiple layers of the primer filled in any kind of imperfections, so it looks pretty good. So I just wanted to catch you up on what's going on. And I'll be starting the Hello Kitty guitar build here today. Actually, I'm gonna go look at, I just got the neck from Walmart, so I'll be looking at that. But yeah, pretty cool. Alright, we'll see you in a couple days on this one and continue forward. And also I'll be working on the necks, because I got the necks up here, and I'll be shaping the necks and doing the fretwork and all that kind of stuff. So alright, looks good. Prince Cloud double neck guitar build. Alright, we'll see you in a little bit. Awesome. Alright. Hey, how's everybody doing on this beautiful Thursday morning? It's been raining here in Central Florida the last few days, so not much progress on the painting, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to start working on the necks for the Cloud double neck guitar. Normally I would like to reserve this process for when the paint is curing, that way I have something to do during the meantime. But I've acquired a couple more pieces and I'm going to do a couple more builds here, so I've got something in the meantime while the paint's drying. And when we get a clearer day, it seems like Sunday is going to be the next clear day, and it's Thursday, so I'm going to do the fretwork here on the top neck of the Prince Cloud guitar, and I've showed this process many times in previous builds, but I'll go through all the brief stuff. I'm gonna tape it off, level it. First I'm gonna do this time around is, at first I'm gonna do the end files, and I've got the fret end file right there, and I'm gonna make sure that they're rounded, make sure there's no sharp edges or anything like that, and we'll see on the next step. Actually, let me show you what they look like now, if I can get a close-up of what generally when you get next what they look like. You can see it's not rounded at all, it's just they're just sharp, they're just flat to the neck. Let's see if I can get it to focus any better than that. Yeah, you see how the fret ends are more or less just sharp and kind of rounded. When you run your finger across it, you could definitely feel the edges of the sharpness. So what I'll do is I'll take the fret end file and I'll go around the corner, try not to leave any tool marks on the actual fretboard itself, and try to round these off. And I'll do a few and then I'll get right back to you. See you next step. Alright, real quick before I do the fret ends, I did notice, and I had mentioned this on prior videos too, you want to go through and make sure all your frets are seated properly, because these being, you know, generic necks you buy online, sometimes, like you see on my 22nd fret here, it's a little bit raised, and I like it to be a little bit more seated than that. Let me try to get the light to cooperate and show you where you can actually see underneath it in the veins. So yeah, as you can see it's popped up just a little bit. And before you start doing any fretwork, you want to make sure they're all uniform. So I'm going to take my rubber-ended file here, and with my knee placed on my knee, gently press down and see if I can get that fret seated better. See, without using any glue, sometimes you can just tap it in there and it'll be fine. So let me give that a whirl. I'll be right back. Alright, successful. I was able to tap it in there pretty good. It's not 100% seated, but it's a lot better than it was. And I think once I do the leveling and the crowning, it'll be fine. Seeing how it's the end fret, I'm not too worried about it. See how there's still a tiny little gap in there? But that'll be fine. It's just that the fret is on the end, and I'm worried if I put too many hard blows to it, I'll actually crack this piece of the wood, you know, off, and I definitely don't want to do that. I mean, I could repair that and all, but yeah, I'd rather not have that happen. I could theoretically put another piece of wood the same thickness underneath here, and then tap on it that way. The ideal way would be having a press, and then you would press your fret down. But seeing as how I don't have that equipment, I have to rely on good old blunt force trauma to put the fret back in there. But it looks fine. I mean, it's okay. Like I said, being the end fret, this is the top neck, and all the other frets look pretty good and seated properly. So I might tap on it a couple more times, but I'll see how everything levels out. And it, like I said, it being the end fret, it should be fine. But alright, we'll see you in a sec. Alright, got all the fret ends filed. Looks pretty good. I don't think the camera, maybe it will. Yeah, cooperate with me. Yeah, minimum tool marks on the frets. But yeah, that's how you round them off. You round them off on each side and they look good. You do it on both sides. And then you feel along the neck, and if you feel anything kind of sharp, like I've shown before, this is a Stumac fret end file. And on one side it's flat. It's got a flat. And the other side, this is the flat side. And then the other side is round. So that way, when you're going, you can just go like that. First you start with the flat side and take off you round it, and then you want to round the top and make sure that there's nothing protruding. Alright, time to tape it up. Well, actually I'm going to get my my straight edge here, and I'm going to level the fretboard using the Allen key and adjusting the truss rod and making it completely level. I showed this step before. There's plenty of YouTube videos on that. And once I do that, and then the fretboard's completely flat, then I'll start to tape it up. And we'll see you next step. Alright, got it all taped up. Now I'm going to mark it, and I'll be right back. Alright, all the frets are marked, and now I'm going to level them. See you in a second. Alright, all the frets are leveled, and I remarked them, and now I'm going to put a crown on them. Alright, see you in a second. Alright, all the frets have been leveled and crowned, and as you can see, we got a crown on both sides, looking good. Alright, now we're going to go through the sandpapers, and we're going to round the ends, and we're going to get a good polish on these suckers. Alright, we'll see in a little bit. Alright, all the frets have been leveled, crowned, and polished on the top neck, and I'm going to take off the tape, and we'll see the next step. Just wanted to show you how good they look. Nice and round and perfect. Alright, I'm going to take the tape off. I'll be right back. Alright, all the tape's off, and the frets look awesome. I got to clean up all the dust from the frets, but yeah, it looks pretty good. Alright, next step is I'm going to install the tuners and drill out the holes for the tuners, and then I'm going to set this one aside and then do the same thing to the bottom neck. Alright, we'll see you next step when I get the tuners ready. Alright, got the tuners out, and I'm going to install the tuners, and I'll see you next step. Alright, got the tuners installed, put in. I'll get them perfectly lined up to where they're supposed to be, and then I'll put the screws, and we'll see you in a sec. It looks pretty cool. Alright. Top neck on the double neck cloud guitar. Alright, looking good. Got the tuners installed, perfectly spaced. All the screws installed. Alright, now I could either, one of two things, I could start on the next neck and then save for shaping the headstock and replacing the nut. I think I'll just work this neck. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shape the neck. Well, I'm going to take off the tuning keys, and then we're going to figure out the shape of the neck, and I'm going to make all the adjustments. Alright, we'll see you next step. Alright, working on the headstock shape. This is where I'm going to get the headstock shape, an image that I found of the guitar, this and the truss rod cover. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of paper over this is the proper size. I sized it up with the actual neck, and I'm going to trace it out. I'll be back in a second. Alright, got the piece of paper on the screen, and what I'll do is I'll trace this out, and I'll be right back. Alright, here's the shape that I traced out. I'm going to refine the lines, and then cut this out, and then apply it to the neck, and then we're going to, measure out a piece of headstock, and then we're going to match it. Alright, we'll see you next step. Alright, got the piece cut out, and this is the way I'll do it. I'm doing it with one hand, so bear with me for a second. So what I'll do is I'll match it up to the headstock, and then I'll figure what extra piece I need to cut. And so it's a good thing I'm not going to actually cut into the headstock itself this time. I'm just going to have to cut an extra piece, and luckily I have plenty of pickguard material that I have left over from other necks that I've cut. So we'll figure that out, and I'll see you in a second. Alright, got it lined up, and I traced out with the extra pieces, and that's when I'm going to cut out of the pickguard material from the scroll saw. Alright, we'll see you in a second. Alright, this is the piece that I cut out, and I traced out and cut out, and when I cut it out of the new material, it'll fit just like that, and it'll be perfect. And I'll cut two of these because theoretically the bottom neck is the same exact shape as this one. So I'll make two of these, and I did make an extra copy of the layout just in case. But alright, let me get out the scroll saw and find some material that's compatible, and I'll be right back. Alright, with here's all my extra neck material, and I decided to break it into two pieces actually, the headstock for each headstock. So this is going to be the left horn and the right horn, and I've got the left horn traced out right there. So let me cut this out, and I'll be right back. Alright, got the top tier cut out, and let's see if I can do this one here and see if it matches up to the neck the way I hope. Alright, so, and I cut it just a little bit fatter on the one end just so I have some room to sand. Perfect. So I'll join that, and I'll connect the other piece, and I made just a little extra here so I could file it so it'd be a straight edge. Alright, let me work on the other half, and I'll be right back. Got the other half traced out on the material, and we'll cut it out. Fingers crossed. We'll see you in a sec. Have the other piece cut. Alright, and then these two will join up like that, and then I'll glue them to the headstock, and hopefully it'll be to go. Looks pretty cool already. Alright, we'll see you in a second. Alright, got all pieces put together. It's almost like putting hair on the headstock. It's kind of funny. But yeah, there we go. I'm going to set it just like that. And I'm going to glue it in, and then I'll be able to sand it accordingly. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Alright, and then I'll put, you know, filler and everything to make it look perfect. Alright, we'll see you in a sec. Alright, turned out pretty cool. There it is. And I'll definitely have to, you know, file the edges and make it perfect and make it match to the picture there. But it's pretty close. I just have to tweak it a bit and put some body filler and stuff in there. And I'll see you next step. I'm going to put some body filler on the front here and then sand it and fill in any kind of gaps, and then on the front and the back, and then make it level. And we'll see you in a sec. Alright, looking good though. Alright, and since we're doing two necks like this, I thought I'd go ahead and get the other neck headstock shape while I still gotta do all the fretwork on the bottom neck, but I figure I'd do the headstock all, because I got everything all, you know, all set up and everything. So, alright, I'll cut this out and then we'll cut the other piece. See you in a sec. Alright, got the bottom neck headstock pieces cut out, and we're gonna go get the bottom neck and we're gonna match it up, and I'll see you in a sec. Alright, got the bottom headstock pieces cut and glued to the neck, and it's looking cool. Yeah. Alright, and I'll fill all these in with I'll see you in the next step. I just wanted to, so we got both here. Let me show you, let me flip it around. The bottom, it's the top. There you go. Alright. You can definitely see that I did the frets on the top one, but not the frets on the bottom, but I will get to that. Alright, we'll see you next step and get some body filler and fill in there and clean all this up, and we'll see you in a minute.